KINK. Homebase. KINK.
So we are sitting here with J57 from Brownback All Stars, Jamo Gang, and of course J57. Well, first of all, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Honored to be here, man. Appreciate you guys.
So the reason we wanted to talk to you is because every Thursday around 12 o'clock, Release Radar drops on Spotify. So it was a Thursday evening, 11:55. I was waiting for that shit already in bed, like, well, let's see what music we're gonna play next week. And all of a sudden there was this track, The First Time by Jamo Gang. So I opened it, I played it, lost my mind, texted Steven like, yo, dude, check this song out. Like, oh, did I call you or did I text you?
You did both. You texted me, and I was playing Call of Duty Warzone. So I'm like, yeah, and I'll check out the releases like in 20 minutes. You know, I want to win this game first, right? But he keeps texting me,
funny.
and he calls me.
I'm like a girlfriend. I'm like, he's not responding. Let's call this guy.
And he calls me again, and he calls me 3 times. And at some point, I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna get shot in the head by a sniper, but I need to know what's going on, right? So I open my phone and there's like 50 messages of him saying, dude, there's their song, and it's got Slug on it, and it's got Premiere on it, and I don't really know who Jamo Gang are, but they're amazing. You need to listen to this. So I'm like,
Fire.
okay, well that sounds. You sound excited, but just to put it in perspective, this is like every other week. He gets excited about a track, and it's usually, oh, this is nice, you know. And I'm like happy to hear about it, but you know.
But this time you noticed it was something else.
It was different. It wasn't 10 messages; it was like 50, right? And 3 missed calls.
And I think we were already in lockdown as well, so we were also sitting at home and getting really hyped up and wanted to scream it off the rooftop. So that's how it started for us. But before we get into the track, how did Jamo Gang come about?
Oh, super organically, man. Yo, first of all, I appreciate that. That story is amazing. Like, I can't wait to send this to Ras and Gant, and they're gonna be so and Preem and Slug.
Yeah,
you know, I'm gonna send it to all of them. Dude, Jamo Gang came about by accident. It was I go back with Gant a lot of years. So does Ras Kass. I go back with Gant to like. We've known each other since 2004. And we did a song together in 2010 or 11. It was like right after, because I worked at Fat Beats New York. You know, shouts to Fat Beats Amsterdam. You know, I had the homies over there. I used to be on the phone with them and stuff. You know, we did a song called Problems, Gant featuring J57 and Tech from Smith & Wesson. And we did a video. And then I became friends with Premiere a year, like maybe later that year or the next year. And he was saying it to me. He was like, yo, I checked that. He didn't know Gant yet, but he's like, he knew who he was. He's like, I checked the Gant song. It's fire, man. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I flipped that sample as an homage to you, what you did with MOP. We talked about that. And then fast forward about 4 more years, 2015, I think. Yeah, it was October 2015. I did a song for Method Man featuring Raekwon and Inspector Deck. And the song is called The Purple Tape. And not to be confused with the classic Raekwon album. Mm-hmm. And we had the video shoot scheduled. Raz was in town. I was part of the show called Rap is Out of Control. Shouts to DJ Eclipse. That's the big homie on Sirius, you know, XM, I mean. And we had Raz on the show on a Sunday. And then we had the Purple Tape on shooting on Monday, right? The next day. Yeah. And Raz brought Gant with him. And I'm like, yo, Gant, we've known each other 100 years. This is cool. I get to finally chill with Raz. Like, I only met Ras Kass once. We were blackout drunk backstage at a Cypress Hills show. There's a picture of me, him, and Apollo Brown. None of us remember it. I think Apollo might remember it. I don't know. But like that picture's out there and it's really funny. But we don't even remember meeting each other. And then we kind of met again at Sirius on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then on Monday, I had the video shoot. And on Monday during the day, Gant called me. Gant was like, yo, Raz, I was telling Raz about your beats and he wants to come through and hear some beats. And I was like, yo, I might be able to get some beats to Raz, dude. I might be able to get on Soul on Ice too. This might be crazy.
Nice.
And then I was like, dude, I can't have you guys come over because I got to go to Method Man's video shoot. Like, this is crazy. And then I was like, wait a minute, you're Ras Kass. Do you want to come to the video shoot? So I invited Gant and Ras Kass to the shoot. Wow. Raz walks in. Everybody's like, yeah. All the Wu-Tang dudes are going crazy. They're going nuts. Gant's chilling. And then we had the session the next day, which was like, I found it in my phone the other day. I think it was like October 25th, 2015 or something like that. And so Raz and Gant came through to my studio in Brooklyn, and we I played them beats. I had my back to them just like this. They were sitting behind me. It was a different room, a different studio. And they were like, I didn't think they were liking it because I didn't hear anything. And then I turned around and they were like, yo, these are dope. And I didn't realize they really, really liked it. I thought they weren't feeling it because they weren't saying anything. I just played beat after beat, 20 seconds of each beat, And then they're like, I liked all of them. I'm like, what? So we just loaded up one of the beats. I played it on loop. They were writing to it on the spot. The first song was Straight No Chase from our first EP. That was the song that we did first. And they were like, Jay, you want to spit on this too? You're a spitter. And I was like, I was in such a production mode. I was like, yo, Raz and Gant, those are like two of the most powerful MCs on the planet. I'm not in the mode at that time. Now I could rhyme anytime, but like at that time, I was only in production mode. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to get on a track with these two titans not being fully mentally prepared. You know what I mean? Like, I got to really be in that zone. Like if it was now, I'd be able to do it. You know what I mean? But the universe doesn't make mistakes. God doesn't make mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just like not meant to be. And then I decided, we did a couple songs that day. Premier heard them. Premier became friends with Gant that week randomly. And Preem pulled us all three aside and was like, I think you guys should make that a real group. And we didn't even know about that idea. Like that could even be a thing. We were like, we didn't even think of it. You know what I mean? And when they came over to my studio that one time and recorded those two songs, The Altar and Straight No Chase, we, I don't drink anymore, but we were drinking Jameson, a lot of Jameson.
Yeah.
And they had to go, they were going to Static Selector's show at Shade 45 that night. And when they were leaving, they were like, Jay, bounce us the roughs of the tracks. I don't mix. So I just, I have rough joints to send them. And I was like, yo, fellas, check your email or whatever. And in the email, I wrote Jamo Gang as a joke in the subject of the email.
As in Jameson Gang?
Like, dude, I did it as a joke. So then they went on the air that night as a joke because, Static drinks too. Shouts to Stat. And they were like I don't know if Static was drinking that night or not, but like he was cool with them being drunk. And they're like, yo, we started a group with J57 called Jamo Gang. And I didn't know they were doing this. I didn't listen. I passed out on my couch. I was so drunk. I passed out on my couch. I wake up at like 9 a.m. I look at my phone. I missed 100 calls. I look at Twitter. I never even look at Twitter, but I looked at Twitter and it was like, I got all these new followers and everyone's like, Jamo Gang. And I was like, what? I didn't even understand. Like, I forgot I even wrote it. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, what are they talking about? And then Gant called me. He goes, yo, you want to hear what happened? And he's like, people were calling into the show and everything. I was like, this is crazy. And then that's when Premier was like, yo, you guys should really think about making this a group. And when Premier speaks, I'm listening, man. So all three of us, that's how it happened. It was literally it was the most organic thing I've ever been a part of. Obviously Brown Bag as well. It was a very organic, formation, but this was like a little different. You know what I mean? So that's how it happened. And I still can't believe 5 years later, I could sit here and tell you that story. It's like, obviously a dream come true,
It's unbelievable. I wonder what if you had a worse choice of drink and then the entire name of the group would have been different. like Merlot Gang or something. Like
Merlot Gang. Yo, I probably would have wrote that as a joke too. That would have been a bad name. That would have been a really bad name.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So in 2018, you guys dropped the Jamo Gang EP, what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
And what can you tell us about Walking with Lions? Because next to being a hip hop head, I also grew up on metal. This is all like building up towards the first time. But you guys did a track with Sid Wilson of Slipknot. How did you get that guy on a Jamo Gang record?
So we did that session. Jamo Gang started October of 2015, technically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I threw a show at South by Southwest in March of 2016. So that was like, I can't really do math that well, but that was like 5-6 months later, whatever it was. I don't know. And
5 months.
Gant was already friends with Sid, and Gant was on my bill. He was already billed to play on my show. And Gant called me a week before, like right before I made the flyer. He called me. He's like, "Yo, can Sid Wilson play? Can he DJ, do like a set or like be my DJ?" I'm like, "Wait, like from Slipknot?" Like I knew who that was. I've been a fan since I was in high school. I was like, "Wait, for real?" He goes, "Yeah, that's like my boy. Like we go on tour and da da da." I was like, "Bro, can I add him to the flyer?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna loop you in with him and his manager." And I became super tight with his manager and him immediately. And we met at South by, and there's like pictures of me meeting Sid, and like he's DJing and I'm like showing him like my beat machines and stuff, and like we became super cool. And then he became really tight with Raz because they're both in LA or whatever. And then like it was just us three being cool. I went on tour. Me and DJ Element went on tour with Sid a year or two after that, and then became really tight. And then when I went to LA for some meetings, right, like I guess summer of 2019 when we were supposed to turn the album into Fat Beats, by the way. July 9th, 2019, we were supposed to turn it in. I had to call the owner or whoever, Joe at the time, and tell him we didn't have it finished, but it was understandable. I went and played the album for Sid, and I go, dude, can we just sneak you on the album? Like, I'm not even gonna tell the guys. Could I just sneak you at the end of a song, like scratching or something, or singing, or whatever you want to do? And he goes, of course. Like, I played him the album first, you know, it was pretty much done. He was like, dude, of course, let's go. And like, he's like smoking a blunt. He's like listening. He goes, yeah, send it to me. And then he left for tour with Slipknot like the next day for like the rest of like the year, pretty much. But he called me, FaceTime me from Germany. He was in he was in Amsterdam. He FaceTimed me from Amsterdam. He had he brought all of his equipment just like for the tour so he could be like messing around. He called me on FaceTime. He had his table set up, his mic set up in his hotel room. He goes, dude, I have an off day today. Send me a track. I'll get on it. I was like, I actually have a song ready for you. I did it on purpose in case this happened, because I know how like last minute things could be with music, you know? And he goes, dude, send it to me. Give me the BPM. I'm going to FaceTime you to see what you think. Like, he's FaceTiming. He's singing and FaceTiming. He's like sending me the email with everything. I'm like blown away. Like, we were already good friends by then. So it was like, it's still really cool though. It's still like, he's a human to me. He's not like this god. He still is a god to me, but he's not this god that I don't know anymore. You get what I'm saying? He's now a human. So, but to watch him work, which I've worked with him in person. We've done songs where we both rap over DJ Element beats and stuff like that. Songs that'll be coming out, and I've done remixes for him that are coming out, and he's on my last solo album and stuff, scratching. So like, we're already boys, but like to see him sing and to see him scratch, and then be like, hey, is that good? I'm like, yeah, send me the files. Let's go. So I sent it to Raz and Gant. I'm like, surprise, our brother Sid's on the track. And they were like, all capitals in the email. They're like, let's go, holy shit. And he nailed it. Like, and El Gant called me. He had the idea of taking, because he just sang at the end originally, Sid. He's like, yo, what if you take part of Sid's ending singing and place that in the hook so we could kind of go back and forth between Raz and him? And I was like, that was a really dope idea. Like, Gant comes up with some really dope arrangement ideas. So does Raz. So that's how the song came to be. You know what I mean? It was
amazing.
A really fun, exciting time. You know what I mean?
Well, it's pretty cool because I also listened to the Jamie Jasta show, Jamie Jasta of Hatebreed, and he had Sid on, and he was asking Sid, like, what are you listening to this year? And he was also like, JPEG Mafia and Jamo Gang. Like, he actually named both. Like, so a bunch of metalheads like also got to know about JPEG Mafia and Jamo Gang that same episode.
Thanks for the heads up, man. I'm gonna watch that episode actually. Thank you.
So, Walking with Lions, how was that process like? Was it the same as the Jamo Gang EP? Like, very natural, everything just sort of happened?
It was a lot different. It was a lot different. So yeah, well, the Jamo Gang EP was originally going to be an album. We didn't even try to do an EP. It was going to be an album. We did those 2 songs the first session, became a group that week, and then Premier was saying like, you should be a group. And this was when like Prime 2 came out, because I remember one of the nights we did a session and we did the song called what is it? I'm so bad with song titles. It's the one where DJ Element scratches. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but that one, what the hell is it called? We did that song at Jake Palumbo's studio in Manhattan. And then Preem was like, yo, come through. Me and Royce are rocking in like an hour, blah, blah, blah. And then we all went to the show. Oh, no, actually, they went to the show. I couldn't go. I had like a session that night or something after. So they went to the show, and like it was around that time. So we were doing sessions in person. And then after that, Raz went back to LA because he was in New York briefly at that time. So then when he went to LA, it was all email, and that's fine. You know what I mean? It was all through email, and it came out really good. And then with the album, 4 of the songs were recorded at Jake Palumbo's Brooklyn studio a few years later. We did Steven, Walking with Lions, the Little Snitch skit. We did like 2 other songs. I'm slipping my mind right now, but we did like 4 or 5 songs, including Snitch, and all the skits for Snitch in like literally one day. Like, they literally never heard those beats before. I just some of those beats are really old. I just never showed anybody. Like, I knew they were good, so I held on to them for like, one day maybe I could be in a big group, like, and then this happened and I had the batch ready. Like, my mind works in a weird subliminal way, man. And I knew, like, subconsciously, I knew I was going to have that situation one day. I just knew it. And I had the batch ready, and out of the 30 beats in that batch, they liked those 3 or 4. And that's how that album really happened, where we've been doing stints where it was like in person. The rest was kind of sort of through email. Then there's kind of sort of, you know, like, especially with the first time with me rapping on the track, there was a lot of this, like, where I'm like, yo, Raz, can you listen to my verse and tell me what you think? Like, there's, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of like things like that where I'm just like, hey, Legend, can you tell me? And Gant too, you know, like, let me know what you guys think. Give me some pointers. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been rapping 20 years. I've been rapping before making beats, but like, and I take it just as seriously, but like, I'm on a track with Raz and Gant, and it's a premiere beat.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wrote my verse like 5 times before I even recorded it.
Yeah, of course.
And then when we did it, I didn't do my verse yet. And I was like, yo, we could get somebody featured on this. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, we could get, not to jump ahead, but I was like, we could get somebody on this.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about people to do the hook. We were thinking about like, you know, solid big name people to do the hook and things like that. And then, you know, or even just spitters to do a verse. Like, we were just thinking all that stuff. And then I was like, I was becoming friends with Slug, and I was just like, dude, you know who's never worked with Premiere?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, and who would sound really good on this beat? Because you know, there's beats that I wouldn't sound good on from Premiere. Like I could make it work, but it's not like meant to be.
No.
And then there's tracks, same thing with Slug. There's tracks where you're like, he would sound dope on it because he could really rap, you know, but like you wouldn't want, like, it wouldn't make the most sense. This one made sense, where I was like, this kind of of a playful beat at times, and it sounds like kind of something Ant would do. Who's like one of my biggest influences production wise. Shouts to Ant, he's a great guy. And like, I just was like, yo, what do you guys think? And literally, they were like, let's go. I called Preem. He was like, I would love it. That sounds good. I called Slug. He was like, are you serious? He's like for real? Like, to be on a Premiere beat? I was like, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think that it would be like a good thing for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, can you do this for us, sir? And he's like, yo, let's go. Let's do it. Send it to me. And blessed us, man.
So about that. So you end your verse with on a level this elevated 1, right? Like, and he continues as if he's Snoop, like 2, 3 into the 4.
Yeah, ain't nothing new, we down with the goat. Yeah, Jamo juggling, jugulars going right for they throat. And I quote, we down with atmosphere, and the fact is clear, there's no one on a level this elevated. 1,
2, 3 into the 4, in the corner of the bar, started peeing on the floor.
Like, when you put that, this is me geeking out about like how this, like, about the process of writing, right? Did you have 1 as like 1 love or 1 whatever at the end of your verse, and he was like, fuck it, I'm a roll with it, like with the 2, 3 into the 4? Or was it like, was that
You're not gonna believe it. You're not gonna believe what happened.
Okay,
this is such a great question. Nobody, dude, we've done 100 interviews for this Jamo album, probably close to 100 of them. Nobody's asked that question. I've been waiting for somebody to ask it.
This is the first thing I wondered about when I heard the track.
Thank you. So we left the song open. We all 3 of us did our verses, left that space open for Slug. I sent it to him. So what I do when I rap, I do this, I created this style where I do a third ad lib where I put the reverb all the way high, and I just literally stand away from the mic after I already did my verse, and I just scream. I go like, what? Yeah. Let's go. Like, I just do all like hype, like Tony Yayo from G Unit era. I do hype stuff. You know what I mean? Because I'm a producer and an MC, so I know how to like make myself sound better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I did that, and I literally was saying, what? I was like, kind of like Little John-esque, if you will, like just being like, what? With all the reverb. And because of all the reverb, it almost has an effect, like a distortion to it on purpose. And Slug thought I said 1, and he called me and was like, yo, do you mind if I do 2, 3 into the 4 off of that 1? Because I kind of did listen to it. And I was like, dude, fun fact, I actually said what? But I'm going to go back and re-record the last line so that it goes seamlessly into your verse.
So 1 was punched in. That word was punched in, or the last line was punched in?
You know what's funny? I think I actually did the last line again like a year and a half later after I recorded it like 2018, and then Slug did his verse like the end of 2018, early 2019 maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's when that happened, and I was like, dude, I got to do this justice. Like, I can't like let it rock and make people think maybe I'm saying 1 and very low in the background, because I didn't say that in my verse. I said level that's elevated, and you hear what in the background, lower. So that's the OG version that like nobody has. And he thought I said 1, so I went level that's elevated 1, 2, 3 into the on purpose.
Yeah.
So I did it because of his genius. His idea was genius. And then they let me direct the video.
Yeah.
It's my first video I ever directed. I've been wanting to direct for a very long time. So that's when I was like, Slug, you down with this Snoop Dre idea? Because like with us wearing the outfits.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't think people are going to realize that we're wearing the outfits, but I'm down. And, it was kind of true. Half of them did, half didn't realize, but it's fine. Like I sent him like all the stuff in the email, like all the visuals and stuff, and he was saying yay or nay. But that's how that happened, man. It was literally Slug thought I said one, I said what, and it made me really happy to trade off with one of my favorite MCs.
Yeah, it's one of these things that when like a relay, like passing the, you know what I mean? Like when that works out, it's so perfect. Like there's this Biggie and Method Man song where Biggie ends the verse with M.E. and then Method Man was supposed to start with THOD, man, you know, like that sort of, but if you listen to the song, like it doesn't line up because they weren't in the same room. So like Biggie says ME and then the TH already started and it's like, it's just a little bit messy and you're like, oh, I just wish I could have told them, no, do it better because it would have been perfect. And then, you know, the first time comes up and it's 1, 2, 3 into the, it's crazy. Oh, just crazy.
Yeah, that's like, you know, that's the highlight of my year, man. That moment, the highlight of my year. I've already thought of it. I want to like post it on my socials, which I don't really mess with too often. I do, but I don't. I want to post it, but I don't want anybody who I've worked with this year to be offended that they're not involved in my favorite moment of 2020 musically for me. But come on, man, I've been listening to, I'm 37. I've been listening to Slug since I was 16.
Yeah.
And I became friends with him in 2017. You get what I'm saying? So it's like in 2017, I was 34. So it was like
half your
life.
Think
about that. That's like really deep to me. Like to trade off with one of my idols. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just I've been listening to him. He's like one of my idols as an MC. Like when you listen to my solo stuff, I don't sound like Jamo Gang. I sound more like in the realm of an atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was very, very heavy in a good way.
So what is interesting to this song for us two is like, we described it as it's like a cup of coffee in the morning. It just gives us a boost to get shit done, especially in a year like this. It's a motivation song.
It's really it's the first track in both our sort of get up in the morning playlist to get going again. You know, when you need to get pumped up, it just has that energy to it.
And yeah, like I don't like comparing songs or artists to each other. Like I don't think that's the correct thing to do. But you can compare a feeling. And both of us, like we had, it's pretty funny how we work as well because we both had the same idea. Like it reminded us of Brooklyn by Masta Ace and Marco Polo. Just a perfect song that makes you want to just get out of bed, get shit done, take a walk through the city. Go to work and yeah, thank you for that, especially in a year like this, 2020. Like you guys delivered for us the best song for how much that is worth.
And we've been debating for weeks about what our top 50 or top 100 of the year had to be. The one thing we didn't ever debate was which song was the top song, and that's because like the moment that he texted me 50 times and called me 3 times, and all right, I'll listen to it. And I was like, then send him 50 texts and three phone calls, you know? Like that moment we kind of already knew. I guess it was back in May, maybe April. I guess it was April still?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, whenever it came out, whenever it dropped, anyway, I'm not sure anymore. Time is relative in times of COVID, but yeah, that was clear to us. It's just such a perfect mix of dope rhymes, crazy artists, scratches. Like the beat is fantastic. It's I don't know what to say about it. It feels a little bit weird to talk to you about this like that, but
it means so much to me, and it'll mean so much to the guys because Premier is my favorite. I've gone on record saying this so many times. My favorite producer of all time, even before the friendship. Like I met him in 2006. Briefly, like he did all the music with Christina Aguilera. It was like, at least in America, it was like tremendous. It was like #1 on the radio, like #1 hits. And I met him in 2006. He came to a Pharoah Monch Black Milk show in New York City. And this is a year before Brown Bag started. Me and Audible Doctor from Brown Bag went to that show, and we were blackout drunk. And I saw Premier walking by with a big entourage of people, and I like hit his shoulder like I knew him because I was drunk. I was like, yo! And he looks at me with a big smile. And he had a big entourage of people following him through the crowd. And I go, yo, I'm a big fan. Gave him a pound. He had a big smile. He goes, thanks, man. Kept it moving. And I was like, man, that's so crazy. I got to meet Premier. And I was buzzing off that for years until he became a fan of Brown Bag like 5 years later. And then we became friends after. But like to actually now work with Premier. There's been so many times where I've been blessed to be, before that, 2011, 12, 13, 14 even, I was in the studio with him. I'm on his mixing board and he's like, Jay, hit record. I'm about to record these cuts, you know? And he's sitting there for hours listening to acapellas to come out with the ideas for the cuts. There's years of that. There's years of him being like, Jay, punch me in. I'm, you know, he's on the MPC making a beat. You know, I'm sitting next to him at the board. Torre's in the booth recording, I think it was For the Record. And like, I'm falling asleep at 6 a.m. I'm falling asleep literally as Torre's in the booth recording his vocals. And I'm sitting next to Preem, who's like 13, 14 years older than me. And he's wide awake, going crazy. And I'm like, at the time I was like 30. I was like a lot younger, you know, I was just like falling asleep. But like, yo, there's so many times where like I technically have been, or like even with like Joey Badass on his Paper Trails, like I'm sitting, you know, I helped with certain aspects or just sat there and chimed in. There's a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of cool stuff to talk about with that, but I really never got to work with him where I'm rapping on one of his beats. You know what I'm saying? I've rapped on his beats for years and years, but that's for fun. Nobody's ever heard it, that kind of stuff, like everybody else, or in my car. But like to rap on one of his beats, it was definitely the highest honor possible for me in hip hop. You know what I mean? So shouts to Premier, shouts to Slug, shouts to Ras, Gant, you know what I mean? Shouts to Cherub, because that the group Cherub, I think you would call them like maybe electronic. They're really dope. Those guys they were working on songs with Premier just for like kind of fun or whatever. And that's how the song came about. They were doing songs in early 2017. Yeah, it was early 2017, like April 2017. They were doing songs for Premier featuring them. He was doing very eclectic kind of singles that he was releasing through his label, To The Top, TTT. Shouts to Ian. And they were making records. And then Preem was like, yo, so we did a song with Cherub where they're singing over my beat. And then I'm scratching, I'm sampling and playing piano, da-da-da-da-da. I was like, word. He goes, well, we didn't use this beat. And I did cuts on it. And it was with the first time cuts already done. And he goes, we didn't use this though. And me, Raz, and Gant were sitting there and we're like we were like telling each other mentally, we're like, wait, is he offering we didn't know what was going on. We couldn't tell. We were looking at each other like, wait, like the weirdest faces ever. We're like, what?
Did you hear that? Did he just offer that? What's that?
Dude, we didn't know. We kind of knew, but we didn't. And Gant's face was all red, and he was like, just you want to just email me that? We'll see. Like, this is, I remember it perfectly. He goes, because they scrapped that beat. So he goes, these are your scraps, right? I'll just be like a raccoon in the garbage digging out your scraps. Just send it to me. It's fine. Like, I'll never forget he said that. We all lost it. The whole room was laughing. And Preem's like, it's open. I'll send it. I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude. Holy shit. This is insane. This isn't like, it was just extra insane for all of us. You know, Raz already has a classic record, Golden Childhood Premiere, and it still was just as deep to him as it was to me and Gant. You know what I mean? And like, and to Slug. To this day, Slug is like, thank you. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to work with Slug. Like, this is, and he's thanking me. Like, this is insane, dude. So, like, you know, I just want to say how special that song is to me and obviously to everybody involved, man. So for it to be so special to you guys, now that's what we do it for. That's what we do. We do it for people to enjoy great moments and also to get them through hard times. You know what I mean? Or just to motivate them in the morning. Like, there's all these different reasons. That's why we do music. It's not, you know, we all start, I mean, at least I did. I started trying to be good at rapping, and then I started to be good at making beats competitively, because that's just like the subconscious of it, the psyche of it. And
I mean, that's hip hop, right? You want to compete.
Yeah, it's hip hop. You want to be the best. You know what I mean? And that's where I came from. I came from freestyling, battling, beatboxing, you know, in the late 90s. You know, I started rapping in 98. So like, that's where I come from. And that's what I'm always going to be true to. But like, let me tell you, man, when you get older, now I start touring. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Canada, across my country. And I'm seeing people being like, yo, that song, the message in the song got me through a hard time. Da-da-da. People on the internet are saying it. And I'm like, yo, that made me realize that it's deeper than me trying to be the best or the best I can be. It was more like, wait, I'm doing this now because it's helping people, and it's helping me therapeutically getting this out of my system and my soul, and, you know, the universe bringing these ideas to me, and I'm being a vessel for it, as deep as that could sound, but it is absolutely something I came into to realize. So like the fact that it could touch, you know, people in different countries and they dig it, like that means a lot. So thank you guys, for real, man.
Yeah, I mean, thank you.
Thank you. So I realized during this conversation that there are 1,000 more questions I want to ask you, and you took a couple of side paths that made us, probably you as well, wonder more and more about certain little things you said. I would like to leave it open for now and say, let's meet again in a couple of months and do another interview, because I know you're working on a record as well.
Yo, yeah.
And like the listeners know, I'm also a promoter, Homebase, an event in Groningen, hip-hop event.
Fire.
I think we need to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, bro. Appreciate
So
it.
thank you for this interview.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. And like, let's keep in touch, like on some real shit. Like, let's keep in touch through email and, you know what I'm saying? Like all that real shit. Like, let's just keep in touch. Cause I really appreciate both you guys, and you're really fucking cool. And this is a dope, you know, I was checking it out, man. This is a dope show, the whole nine. So I'm going to be tapped in, you know, and if you need anything from me, if you want to link with anybody that I work with, just please do not hesitate. There's like only a couple people that they're kind of so big. It's kind of hard for me to get them on shows. Like, no, not like even the biggest shows, the smallest, whatever. It never works out. But like, trust me, like I'm always linking my brother Homeboy Sandman. We're finishing our album right now.
That's like your favorite.
Okay, like I said, we need to stop right now. But I'm happy I didn't press the record button.
Never press the stop record button before it's over.
So funny, yeah.
Oh
no,
my!
No, that's one of my best friends in this world. Not even music, and like I just sent him. He has to hit me today anyway because it doesn't have to. But I have this for my next solo project. I'm featuring Sandman and DJ Eclipse on one of my songs, and I sent it to Eclipse for approval, for the mixing approval, and he wrote back to me last night, let's go, it's perfect. And then Sandman was like, thanks brother, I can't wait to listen. So he's gonna be hitting me up, and I'll be telling him about how great this show was and how cool you guys are, and he will 100% be like, link me through email, let's do it. Like he's such a great guy, and he's gonna be so down, especially with good people like yourselves. So anybody you can think of, hit me up, man. I won't be bothered. You know what I'm saying?
I have to tell you, because I always say this, like this has been a reoccurring thing in, I think, 2 years of the podcast. I always say Homeboy Sandman, he's not just a rapper, he's the percussion. He dances through beats like I don't know what he does, but he can. You don't need a hi-hat, you don't need bongos or whatever the fuck. All you need is Homeboy Sandman, and he will fill up all the holes in the beat. Like,
you're going to love the project I'm doing with him because it's 10 years in the making. We've been making this album since 2010. He's not lying. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
there's one of the songs, I'll put it this way. He got signed to Stone's Throw in 2011.
Yeah.
There's one of the songs where Peanut Butter Wolf told him that this one song we did, that's his favorite, if not favorite Homeboy Sandman song. And it hasn't come out yet, and it's from 2010, and it could come out tomorrow, and you would never know it came out it was recorded in 2010. You would think it was like a 2020 or 2021 record, like whenever it comes out.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So he's just like that dope. And to your point, the newer songs that we recorded in the past year, they're beats I didn't expect him to take from me, and I'm not going to give too much away on the recording. I would tell you off the air, but like the drum patterns are bizarre, and he's really just making that shit his own. And he's the only one that could do that shit. He's the only one that could do that shit. It's so catchy and so good. I love that dude. So I'm really glad you guys dig him too, man. That's what's up.
Oh man, you're gonna regret that offer because we're gonna be in your inbox every other day.
It's not a problem. Yo, here's the thing. Like, if anybody, but you guys are awesome. Like, if it was anybody else, I'd be like, okay, here's Justin's email, no doubt. And that's not a diss to them because I got to work. You know what I mean? But like, this makes me happy. You guys are cool as shit. This is like enriched my life too. So like, let's get it. Let's all win together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you, sir.
Much love.
Damn.
No doubt.
Wow. Like,
do you have any?
I'm gonna press the stop button for real now. I need to.
No. Wait. I have one more question. I have one more question. So, okay. So the first time was our number one song of the year. Right?
Oh,
insane.
But what's your number one song of the year? It could be the first time. We wouldn't blame you, honestly. No.
That's funny. You know what, man? I don't have one. I'm way too picky. Like, I love my album with Shabam Sadiq. I love my album with Jamo Gang. I love things I'm not even a part of, like Kid Cudi's album. I love Rock Marciano's new album.
Yeah.
I love everything that came out on my label, 57 Collective.
Yeah.
Shouts to the whole team. Man, I did so many albums with so many people. Like, I really don't have a number one. I kind of stopped doing that a few years ago because I'm too picky.
Yeah.
I'm too picky. I love a Cudi song as much as I love a Rock Marciano song, which are two different ends of the spectrum, dude.
Yeah.
I can't call it. I really can't. I love so much stuff, dude.
That's a great answer, though. That is a great answer.
I dislike so much music too, so it's not like I like everything. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, he just likes everything. No. Dude, like I said, I'm 37. I've been rapping for 20 years. I've been making beats 17 years. I'm like borderline jaded. It takes so much to make me like something now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It takes so much for me to be like, oh my God, that's that shit. Like I do the same thing, brother. Thursday night, I'm on that phone, Apple Music. What do we got? I dropped 416 songs this year. So for me, I'm always checking my own shit, and then I'm listening to whatever else is coming out, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I go scanning through it, and if something doesn't grab me, I'm keeping it moving. It's not a diss to the artist. I might give it another listen another time.
Yeah.
But it has to grab me, and it has to make me feel like, it has to give me like escapism. You know what I'm saying? It has to make me lose like my fucking attention. You know, I mean, it keeps my attention. It has to make me like lose my train of thought from like the world. You know, it's escapism. Well, so yeah, long answer, but I can't tell you.
It has to grab you the first time. No pun intended, but I guess pun intended.
Facts though.
KINK. Homebase.